falling from the stars. The sky was quiet. The stars were calm. Then, a bright light tore through the darkness. It was not a shooting star. It was something else. Something falling fast. Inside the falling object was a girl. Not human. Her skin was pale blue. Her eyes glowed like silver moons. She was young, scared, and hurt. "They left me," she whispered, her voice weak. Her name was Elira. She was from a race called the Velari. They were smart, cold, and proud. They saw emotions as weakness. But Elira was different. She felt things deeply. And because of that, her people betrayed her. They threw her into a ship, set its course to a far planet, and let it fall. That planet was Earth. Her ship hit the atmosphere. Flames wrapped around it. Alarms screamed. Metal cracked. The ship was dying. Elira held onto her seat. Her body shook. Her head hit the side. Blood, thick and dark purple, ran down her cheek. "Don't let them find me," she whispered. The ship crashed in a forest. Trees burned. Animals ran. Birds screamed and flew away. When the dust settled, the ship was gone. Only smoke and fire remained. Elira crawled out. Her suit was torn. Her arm was broken. She fell to the ground, breathing hard. Everything hurt. "So this is Earth," she said. She looked around. The forest was dark, cold, nothing like her home planet. Her people had called Earth the land of beasts. They said humans were wild, dangerous, and cruel. They said no one should ever go near them. But now she had no choice. Her body shook. She was bleeding too much. She dragged herself to a rock and hid behind it. She didn't want the humans to see her. She didn't trust them. Not yet. A sound came from the trees. Footsteps, heavy boots on wet leaves. "We got something here," a voice shouted. Humans. Elira's heart pounded. She tried to stand but fell. Her vision was blurry. She saw shapes. Tall, armored figures. They had weapons. Helmets. Red lights on their chests. They looked like monsters. "It's a life form," one of them said. "Not human. Alien tech. Possible threat. Call command." Elira raised her hand, trying to speak, but no words came out. A man stepped forward. He took off his helmet. He had a scar across his face. His eyes were sharp but calm. "Hold fire," he said. "She's hurt." Elira stared at him. This human didn't look like a beast. He looked tired, strong, human. "Who are you?" she asked in a broken voice. He kneeled beside her. "We're soldiers," he said. "We protect our own." Before she could answer, her world went dark. She fainted. She woke up later in a strange room. Soft light, clean bed, machines beeped quietly. Her wounds were treated. Her arm was wrapped. Her skin was healing. Someone had saved her. She tried to sit up. Pain shot through her body. A voice spoke. "Easy, you're safe now." It was the same man, the one with the scar. "Where am I?" she asked. "Earth. Military base. Hidden location. We picked you up after the crash," he said. She looked around. It was nothing like the horror stories she'd been told. It was clean, calm, not cruel. "Why did you save me?" she asked. "Because you needed help," he replied. "That's what we do." Elira felt something strange, something warm in her chest. Humans were supposed to be monsters. But this man, he helped her, even when she looked nothing like him. "What's your name?" he asked. She paused, then said, "Elira." "I'm Commander Ridge," he said. "Welcome to Earth." She turned her head. Outside the window, the stars were bright. The same stars she had fallen from. Her people had left her to die, but the humans had saved her. She didn't know why, but she was going to find out. The beasts who heal Elira opened her eyes again. The room was quiet. Soft white lights glowed from the ceiling. The smell was clean. The air felt warmer. She blinked slowly. Pain still lived in her body, but it wasn't sharp now. Her arm was in a cast. Her skin had healing patches. Human medicine. It worked. She sat up slowly. Machines beeped beside her. She touched the bandages on her side and winced. She looked around. It was a small medical room. Clean metal walls. One door, one small window. Outside, she saw a courtyard. Soldiers moved in groups. Some trained. Some laughed. None of them looked like monsters. For a long time, Alira sat still. Her mind ran back to her last day on her homeworld. Flashback. Alira stood in the middle of the high circle, the ruling chamber of the Villari. Dozens of cold, silver-skinned aliens stared at her. Their eyes held no pity. "You are cursed," the elder said. "You feel too much. You cry. You protect the weak. You act human." "I saved a child," Alira shouted. "Our own child." "Emotions are a disease," the elder hissed. "You are unfit." They tied her down, forced her into a pod. Her mother didn't even look at her. Her father stood like a statue. They launched her into space like trash. Back to present. Alira's fists clenched. Her people had thrown her away. But the humans, they pulled her from fire and blood and gave her a bed. Why? She didn't understand. The door opened. Commander Ridge entered. He wore a simple black uniform, a few medals on his chest. The scar on his cheek looked older today. He nodded at her. "You're awake." "Good." She didn't speak. He placed a tray on her table. Food. Human food. Bread, soup, something green. "You should eat," he said. "You lost a lot of blood." Alira stared at the food, then at him. "You helped me," she said. "Why?" Ridge sat down in the chair across from her. "You were dying," he said. "We don't leave people behind." "But I'm not your kind," she said. Ridge gave a small smile. "Doesn't matter. You're not our enemy either." "But you thought I was a threat." "We did," he said honestly. "Some still do. But I saw your eyes. Scared. Lost. Not angry. Not evil." Alira looked away. "My people called you beasts," she said. "They said you were killers. Animals." "We are," Ridge said, "when we need to be. But we also build, care, protect. We cry, too." Alira's eyes narrowed. "My kind don't cry." "Maybe that's the problem," he said. Over the next few days, Alira walked the base. Her injuries healed fast. She watched the soldiers train. They were fast, strong. Some yelled. Some laughed. Some hugged each other after training. So strange, she thought. Her kind never touched unless it was for war. She saw a woman hug a crying child. She saw two soldiers argue, then laugh together after 5 minutes. Alira felt like a shadow moving through a world too bright for her. But still, she watched. One morning, she walked past the training field. A soldier named Jake waved at her. "Hey, alien girl," he shouted. "Wanna learn to punch like a human?" She stopped, frowned. "Is that a challenge?" "No," Jake grinned. "An invitation." Commander Ridge watched from the side as Alira stepped onto the mat. Her body was still weak, but her moves were sharp, too sharp. "You've had combat training?" Jake asked as she dodged his punch. "Yes," she said. "Since I was 5. She moved fast, faster than human eyes could track. But then, she stopped. She had Jake by the throat, but something stopped her hand. His face. He wasn't scared. He was smiling. "Not bad," he said, coughing. "You're good." She stepped back, confused. No fear, no hate, no anger. "I could have hurt you," she said. "But you didn't," he replied. Ridge walked up and said quietly, "See, you made a choice. They didn't. That's what makes you different from them." Alira stared at her own hands. "Why are you all like this?" she asked. "You fight hard, then laugh, then cry, then fight again. It makes no sense. Ridge smiled. Because we're human. We're not perfect. We feel too much. But that's what keeps us alive. That night, Alira sat alone on the roof. The sky was full of stars. She stared up, wondering if her people were out there. If they even remembered her. "Do they miss me?" she whispered. "Or am I already gone to them?" Behind her, Jake appeared with 2 cups of warm liquid. "It's called hot chocolate," he said. "It helps when your heart hurts." Alira took the cup. She smelled it. "Sweet. Why are you being nice to me?" she asked again. "Because that's what we do," Jake said. "You'll get used to it." Just then, high above, something moved in the sky. A small black drone. Fast. Quiet. Alira's eyes locked on it. Her blood went cold. That was Valeri Tech. Her people had found her. And now, they were coming. Warrior blood. The sky was quiet again. Too quiet. Commander Ridge stood on the rooftop, scanning the stars through a pair of night binoculars. Next to him, Alira pointed to the direction where the black drone had vanished. "Valeri," she said. Ridge didn't question her. "How long do we have?" he asked. "Not long," she replied. "That was a scout. If it reports back, they'll come. They don't give second chances." Ridge lowered the binoculars and looked at her. "Why would your people chase someone they already abandoned?" Alira's jaw clenched. Her silver eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight. "Because I know things I shouldn't. Because I feel things I shouldn't." Ridge gave a small nod. "Then we need to train you. Really train you." The next morning, Alira stood on the training field. Her arms still had bandages. Her ribs were sore. But her mind was sharp. She wasn't just recovering now. She was preparing. Today, Commander Ridge said to the group of soldiers, "She joins your unit. She learns our ways. We learn hers." Clear. "Yes, sir," they all shouted. Alira didn't shout. She watched. Listened. The first lesson was about teamwork. "Humans fight together," Jake said, tossing her a practice rifle. "You fall, we lift you. We fall, you cover us." "My kind train alone," Alira replied. "Then forget that," Jake smiled. "You're one of us now." They started with running, then obstacle courses, hand-to-hand combat. Alira was fast, faster than anyone. She climbed walls like air, moved with perfect balance. But something was missing. She didn't trust them. She didn't cover her teammates when they fumbled. She didn't call for help when her ankle twisted. She simply kept going. Alone. By noon, Jake stepped in front of her. "You're strong. We get it," he said. "But strength alone doesn't win wars." "What else is there?" she asked. "Heart. Trust. Loyalty." She looked away. "Those things got me exiled." Ridge walked over. "They got us through hell," he said. "They're the reason Earth still stands." That night, Alira walked through the base, alone again. She passed a wall covered in photos. Hundreds of faces, young, old, smiling, serious. "Who are they?" she asked a passing nurse. "Heroes," the nurse said. "Everyone who gave their life protecting someone else." Alira stood frozen. "You honor your dead." "Always," the nurse said. Flashbacks filled Alira's mind. On her homeworld, the dead were forgotten. If you died, you were weak. Your name was erased from records. No mourning, no honor. The next morning, training resumed. Alira moved smoother now, more focused. She started asking questions, started helping teammates stand up. When a soldier tripped over a broken wire, she caught him. "Thanks," he said, surprised. "I'm learning," she replied quietly. A week later, Commander Ridge took her to the weapon vault. "You need something of your own," he said. They opened a case. Inside was a blade. Old. Black steel. Engraved with words in English. "It belonged to a soldier named Harper," Ridge said. saved a village, died fighting. She fought like you do. Quiet, fast, fierce. I'm not worthy, Alira said. You will be, he replied. When the time comes, fight like she did. Days passed. Her training deepened. She now wore human armor, modified for her body. Black plates, light and strong. The human symbol printed across her chest. She even laughed once. Just once. Jake made a joke about alien food, and she laughed. A strange sound. Soft. Real. The whole squad froze in surprise. Was that a laugh? Jake asked. I think so, another said. Mark the date, Jake joked. Alien girl laughed. Alira rolled her eyes. But deep down, her chest felt warm. But peace never stays for long. That night, an alarm screamed through the base. Intruder alert. Section 4 breached. Soldiers ran to arms. Lights turned red. Alira sprinted with Ridge and Jake to the east hangar. Inside, 3 figures moved in the dark. Tall, armored, not human. Villari assassins. My people are here, Alira said. They found me. Ridge raised his rifle. They're not leaving. The fight was fast and brutal. The Villari moved like ghosts. Their blades silent, deadly. Alira leaped into battle. For the first time, she fought for something more than survival. She fought for the humans who had saved her. She fought like a warrior. Her blade met theirs, steel against steel. She moved like a storm, dodging, striking, spinning. But one of the assassins went for Jake. Without thinking, Alira jumped in front of the blade. The strike hit her shoulder. Deep. Blood poured. Her legs gave way. Alira, Jake shouted. But she didn't fall. She roared, spun, and drove her blade through the assassin's chest. He fell, silent. The others retreated. She dropped to her knees. Ridge ran to her side. Medic, he yelled. You said fight like Harper, she whispered. Did I? You did better, Ridge said. You became one of us. Later, as she lay in the medical room again, Jake brought her a medal. A human military medal. What is this? She asked. The Blood Star, he said. We give it to those who risked their life to save others. But I'm not human. You are to us. Outside her room, the soldiers cheered her name. Alira. Alira. She smiled for the first time without hiding it. But deep inside, she knew something. The assassins were scouts. And behind them, the real army was coming. They're coming. The wind was cold that morning. Alira stood alone on a hill just outside the base, her human armor still scratched from the last fight. Her shoulder ached where the assassin's blade had cut her. But she didn't care. Pain was familiar now. What wasn't familiar was peace. Birds flew above her. Leaves moved softly in the breeze. The earth was still. Too still. Something was wrong. Inside the command center, Commander Ridge and the team reviewed satellite images. We picked up movement, said Tech Officer Lena. Objects entering our solar system. Not meteors. Not ships we know. How many? Ridge asked. 13, she replied. And growing. Alira walked in, calm but alert. They're not just coming, she said. They've already decided. Earth will burn. Everyone went quiet. Ridge stared at her. You're sure? Yes, she said. The Villari don't threaten. They'd erase. A war meeting was called. All leaders of the Global Human Defense Force joined by hologram. Men and women from every continent. Generals. Admirals. Presidents. Alira stood in the center of the room. Some leaders didn't like her presence. She's one of them. A Russian general said, Can we trust her? She saved my soldiers, Ridge replied. She bleeds with us now. Still, a woman from the European Council said, How do we know this isn't a trick? Alira didn't answer at first. Then she stepped forward. My kind has no heart, no mercy, no soul, she said. They will burn your cities, enslave your people. They will use your dead to scare the living." Her voice was steady. "But humans, you are something they fear, not because of your strength, but because of your spirit." "We're outnumbered," a voice said. "You always are," Alira replied. "And yet you win." After the meeting, Ridge walked with her down the hall. "You spoke like a general," he said. "I spoke like someone who finally has something to protect," she said quietly. The base turned busy. Soldiers trained harder. Weapons were upgraded. Scientists built new defense systems using both human and Valeri tech, thanks to Alira's knowledge. She even helped design energy shields for the capital cities. "You really want to stay and fight?" Jake asked her one night. "This is my home now," she said. "I was born Valeri, but I will die human, if needed." He didn't joke this time. "We're lucky to have you." But as hope grew, so did the shadow above. One evening, the skies lit up. 13 black ships appeared in the sky, silent, massive, terrifying. They didn't send messages. They didn't show faces. They simply arrived, like wolves circling prey. Worldwide panic followed. Cities evacuated. Bunkers filled. Internet networks flooded with questions. What are they? Why are they here? Can we win? Back at the base, Alira watched the sky. "This is not a test," she said. "This is judgment." Ridge stood beside her. "What do they want?" "They want me," she said. "But they want Earth more." He nodded slowly. "So we give them neither." Alira knew what had to be done. She entered the comms room, sat in front of the galactic transmitter, one that could send a message far beyond Earth. The same device that once saved her life. "What are you doing?" Ridge asked. "Giving them a choice," she said. She pressed record. The screen blinked red. Recording started. She stared into the camera. "To the Valeri Council," she began, voice sharp but calm. "This is Alira, first daughter of the High Mind, exile of the Cold Throne. You cast me out. You called me broken, weak, cursed. But here, on this strange blue world, I found something stronger than fear, stronger than cold logic. I found humans. They are not beasts," she said. "They are warriors. They protect each other, even when it hurts. They love, even when it's dangerous. They cry. They bleed. They fall, but they rise again. If you come here, if you try to break this world, we will show you what real strength looks like. Not the strength of silence, but the strength of heart." She ended the message. Silence filled the room. Ridge nodded once. "That'll piss them off." "Good," she said. "They need to feel something for once." That night, a reply came. Short, cold, clear. "You are no daughter of ours. Earth will kneel, and you will kneel last." Ridge gathered his top team. "This is it," he said. "They're preparing ground invasion. First ships land in 48 hours. We hold them at the shores. We hold them in the skies. We hold them at all cost." Alira stepped forward. "You don't need to do this for me." Ridge shook his head. "We're not doing it for you. We're doing it because we don't run. Not from anyone." Final drills began. Alira helped plan traps, shield zones, escape routes. Children were moved to hidden shelters. Families evacuated. Every able-bodied human, trained and ready. She trained beside her squad, blade in hand. She gave Jake a small metal token from her ship. "What's this?" he asked. "Luck," she said. "Aliens have luck. I learned it from you." He smiled. "Then we're gonna need a lot of it." On the morning of invasion, Alira stood on a hill again, just like before. But now she wasn't alone. Her armor gleamed in the sunrise, her blade at her side, her squad behind her. The Valeri ships hung in the sky like dark gods. But this time, Alira didn't look up in fear. She looked up in defiance. "They're coming," she said. Ridge nodded beside her. Then we'll meet them head-on. The first battle. The sky burned. The first Villari ship entered the atmosphere, flames trailing behind it. It looked like a black sword cutting through the clouds, silent, massive, and deadly. Alira watched from the ridge. She wasn't afraid. Not anymore. Earth wasn't just a planet to her now. It was her home, and no one would take it without a fight. Sirens echoed across the base. Soldiers ran to their positions. Civilians were already gone, moved to hidden bunkers deep underground. Commander Ridge stood at the front line, helmet on, rifle in hand. His voice boomed through every speaker in the base. Listen up. They're faster, stronger, but they don't know who we are. We are humans. We fight when we're tired. We fight when we're scared. And today we fight for every inch of this world. The soldiers roared. Alira stood beside Jake and her squad, her black armor shining under the gray sky. The blade on her back hummed faintly with energy. You ready? Jake asked. Born ready, she replied. He smirked. Funny, I thought you were born on another planet. Maybe. But I found myself here. The ground shook. The first impact came like thunder. One of the smaller Villari dropships slammed into the earth, digging deep into the soil. Then another, and another. 12 total. They opened like claws. From inside, alien warriors poured out, tall, armored, and emotionless. Their weapons glowed with cold blue light. Their faces were hidden behind helmets, but their movements were exact, sharp, and deadly. Open fire, Ridge shouted. Earth's soldiers fired. Bullets lit the field. Rockets soared. Energy beams clashed. The war had begun. Alira moved like wind through fire. Her blade sliced through the air. Her feet barely touched the ground. She struck one Villari soldier in the chest, then spun to block another. She didn't think. She flowed. Instinct and memory became one. Fall back. A human soldier yelled, wounded and pinned. Alira rushed in, shielding him with her own body, deflecting blasts with her blade. She dragged him behind a tank and handed him to the medics. Thank you, he whispered. Keep breathing, she said. We're not done yet. Jake's squad held the right flank. They were nearly overrun. Need backup, he shouted into his mic. On my way, Alira replied. She leaped over the bunker wall, landed in the middle of the chaos. Gotta say, Jake said as he ducked a blast, you sure know how to make an entrance. Just doing my job. They fought back to back, human and alien, side by side. More Villari soldiers dropped from above. But Alira was faster. She twisted through them, taking them down one by one. Jake got hit. His arm burned from a glancing shot. Alira pulled him behind cover. You okay? She asked. Just a scratch, he grunted. You're bleeding. We all bleed, he smiled. But we keep going. That's human, right? She nodded. Yes, that's warrior blood. Hours passed. The battlefield was smoke and screams. Ash filled the air. Fires burned across the hills. And yet, Earth still held. But then the main Villari ship moved. It hovered high above, quiet, until it opened. From inside dropped a massive machine, a walker taller than a building, with cannons on both sides. Its steps crushed trees and rocks. Its targeting lasers swept the field. Ridge's voice came through the comms. We have a Titan incoming. All units retreat to fallback position Bravo. Alira didn't move. She stared at the machine. No, she said, we can't retreat. Not now. Not after all we've done. We can't fight that thing with rifles, Jake shouted. It's a fortress. But it's not expecting me, Alira said. Help me get close. I can take it down. Ridge came on the comm again. Alira, if you go in there alone, you won't come out. If I don't, she said, none of us will. They made a plan. Jake and his squad would distract the walker, draw its fire. Create a path. Alyra would run straight through. You sure about this? Jake asked, gripping her wrist. I was never sure of anything before I met you people, she said. But now, I am. He nodded. Then the sky turned red. The Titan opened fire. Rockets launched. Ground exploded. Humans scattered. But Alyra ran forward, straight through the fire. She moved fast, dodging blasts, leaping over wreckage. A Velari soldier jumped in her way. One swing down. Another came. She blocked, kicked, stabbed. Then she reached the Titan's leg. A small panel, just as she remembered from the blueprints. She stabbed her blade into it, opened the hatch, and climbed inside. Inside the Titan, it was dark and cold. 3 Velari pilots stood at control stations. They turned and froze. They saw her. They knew her. You, one hissed. Traitor. I'm not your kind anymore, she said. They drew weapons. She moved first. The room became a blur of steel and sparks. One fell, then another. The last pilot stabbed her side, deep. But Alyra drove her blade into the core. Energy crackled. The Titan shook. Outside, Jake saw the machine stop. Then, explode. A fireball lit the sky. Alyra, he shouted. No answer. But then, through the smoke, she crawled out of the wreckage. Barely breathing. Armor broken. Bleeding from her side. Jake ran to her, dropped to his knees. You did it, he said. She smiled faintly. We did it. Medics rushed in. Ridge arrived moments later. Get her to the medical bay. Now. Alyra faded into unconsciousness. But before she passed out, she whispered one word. Home. Hours later, the sun rose. The battlefield was quiet. Humans walked among the wreckage, helping wounded, honoring the fallen. The Velari had retreated, for now. Earth had survived, and Alyra had become a symbol. On the base wall, someone painted her name. Alyra, the alien who fought like a human. Stand with us. The wind carried the smell of smoke and rain. Earth had won the first battle, but only just. The skies were still heavy with clouds, the fields still stained with ash. The air still whispered of war. In the base's medical wing, Alyra lay still. Her body was broken, ribs cracked, side-stitched, her arm hung in a sling, her skin pale from blood loss. Yet, she was alive. Jake sat beside her bed, helmet resting in his lap. He hadn't left her side in 12 hours. You always wanted to be the hero, he said softly. Well, congrats. You did it. Alyra's eyes opened, slow and quiet. Am I dead? Jake laughed. Not yet. You're too stubborn for that. She smiled faintly. Is the Titan gone? Ash, he said. You turned it into dust. We all saw it. And the others. Your kind, he said, retreated, but not far. Alyra tried to sit up. Pain shot through her side. They'll come back, she said. They always do. And next time, they'll bring everything. Ridge entered the room, face hard with news. She's right, he said. We've intercepted their new transmission. He tapped a tablet and showed them a translated message. Earth will fall in 3 days. Prepare to surrender your traitor and your world. Silence filled the room. Jake muttered, guess they're not big on forgiveness. Later that night, Alyra walked slowly through the base. Her armor was gone, too damaged. She wore a plain black jacket now. Her blade rested at her hip. Soldiers saluted her as she passed, not out of duty, but out of respect. To them, she wasn't an outsider anymore. She was one of them. In the war room, leaders gathered again. Ridge stood at the center, a large map behind him showing Earth's defense lines. They'll hit us from orbit. Drop pods. Airstrikes. Walkers. We'll lose the skies first. Then we fight from the ground, someone said. They outnumber us 10-1. Another added. Ridge looked to Elira. What do we do? She took a breath. We show them something they've never seen before. What's that? Jake asked. Unity, she said. My kind believes emotion makes you weak. They believe fear breaks armies. They're wrong. With just 72 hours left, the world came together. Satellites connected every nation. Human engineers, pilots, doctors, and soldiers worked side by side. Countries once divided by borders now stood as one. Elira helped train fighters. She shared tactics, weapon blueprints, and weak points in Villari armor. She showed them how to fight like she had. But more than that, she gave them hope. They said you were monsters, she told a group of young recruits. But I've seen your courage, your loyalty, your kindness. You're not monsters. You're the reason I believe in something again. The next day, Elira stood before a camera. Ridge had asked her to speak, not just to soldiers, but to the entire planet. She was nervous, not because she feared speaking, but because this time, the words had to matter. She stepped up to the mic. Cameras rolled. She looked into the lens. This message is for everyone on Earth. I was not born here. I don't look like you. I don't sound like you. But you gave me something I never had. You gave me a place. You gave me a name that meant something. You didn't ask where I came from. You only asked if I needed help. Now, you need help. And I will stand with you. I won't lie to you. They are coming. And they will bring death with them. But you are not weak. You are human. You fall. You bleed. But you rise again. Every time. And if you fight, truly fight, together, then I promise you this. They will not take this world. Not while we still stand. I am Elira of Earth now. And I say to the stars, we do not kneel. Her words spread like fire. On every screen, every phone, every newsfeed, her voice echoed. People across the world stood and listened. Some cried. Some cheered. Many picked up weapons and said quietly, stand with us. The final day before the invasion was silent, like the world was holding its breath. In the base, Jake found Elira on the roof. She was watching the stars. Are you scared? He asked. Yes, she said, but not for me. For us. For what we could lose. For what we could become. He sat beside her. You changed us, you know, he said. No, she replied. You changed me. As the sun rose on the final morning, the sky turned black again. Not from clouds, but from ships. Dozens. Hundreds. They came from every angle, like a storm of shadows. The ground shook. Alarms rang. But this time, there was no panic. Earth was ready. Ridge stood before his soldiers. This is it, he said. We fight here. We fight now. Stand for your families, your homes, your future. Stand with each other. Stand with her. He pointed to Elira. The soldiers roared her name. Elira, Elira, Elira. She stepped forward, blade in hand, armor shining. New, silver black, made by human hands and alien design. Her eyes glowed. We don't run, she said. We don't hide. We fight. Not because we hate, but because we love what we protect. This is our last stand. The skies exploded. The war had come. But this time, the galaxy would see something it had never seen before. An alien and a planet of so-called beasts standing together as one. Fee. Humans fight yet. The world was on fire. Above the Earth, alien ships filled the sky like a second layer of stars. Cold, black, and endless. Their weapons lit up the heavens. Lasers burned across cities. Walkers dropped from the ships. Fire rained down from orbit. The final war had begun. But Earth did not fall. Not today. In the command base, Commander Ridge stood before the map. Red lights blinked across the screen. Cities under attack. Communication towers hit. Energy shields failing. Still, he stood tall. "Hold the line," he said. "No matter what. If they break through the front, then we fight from the streets. If they take the streets, then we fight from the rooftops. If they take the rooftops," Ridge's voice hardened, "then we fight from our knees. And if we fall, we bite. Humans don't quit. Ever." Alara led her own squad now. Humans trained in her tactics, armed with blades, rifles, and courage. They moved through the battlefield like shadows. Fast, deadly, fearless. The enemy was everywhere, but so were the humans. In Paris, a group of civilians used old museum cannons to defend the city. In Kenya, farmers turned tractors into armored trucks. In Tokyo, school kids built drone swarms using scrap parts and smart code. Across the planet, humans fought in ways no alien ever could. Not with numbers, but with soul. The Velari fleet grew frustrated. They expected an easy victory. They did not expect a global army made of engineers, students, old soldiers, children, and one silver-eyed alien girl with a broken past and a burning heart. On the front line, Alara stood at the edge of a smoking crater. Her blade hummed in her hand. Beside her stood Jake, armor cracked, face bruised, still smiling. "You ever stop smiling?" she asked. "Not while we're still alive. That could change in the next 5 minutes. Then I'm smiling for the last time." She smirked. "Idiot." Their radio buzzed. "This is Ridge. Command base is hit. We need backup now." "We're on it," Alara said. "It's suicide," someone warned. "Good," she said. "I've died before." The command base was burning when they arrived. The sky above it was dark. One of the Velari flagships hovered overhead, beams blasting down in waves. Alara looked up. "We need to get inside that ship." "How?" Jake asked. "The way humans always do," she said. "Crazy? Together." They found an old human fighter jet, buried deep under the mountain base. "This thing still flies?" Jake asked. Alara smiled. "It does now." She took the pilot's seat. Jake sat behind her, manning the weapons. The jet screamed into the sky, smoke trailing behind it. It shook, groaned, but flew. They rose higher and higher until the flagship covered their entire view. "We go through the core engine," Alara said. "You're insane," Jake replied. "That's what makes me human." The ship's weapons locked on them. Alarms screamed. Too fast. Too close. Too late. The jet smashed into the engine chamber. Alarms went wild. Systems failed. The ship shook, and Alara leaped from the cockpit. Inside the alien vessel, chaos exploded. The power systems cracked. Energy cores sparked. Guards ran to their stations. And then they saw her. The traitor. Alara. Alive. And not alone. Behind her, Jake and 2 more soldiers followed. Small squad. Big hearts. "Stop them," shouted the Velari commander. But they couldn't. Not fast enough. Alara fought with her full strength. Not for revenge. Not for hate. But for everything she loved. She tore through the command deck, reached the core chamber, and found it. A glowing ball of pure power. The heart of the ship. "This is it," she said. "Can we destroy it?" Jake asked. "Not safely. We never do anything safely." They planted the charges. Countdown, 60 seconds. Then a Velari blade stabbed through Jake's chest. He fell with a smile. "Worth it," he whispered. Alara screamed, something primal, human, deep. She lifted Jake's rifle, shot the last attacker, and dragged his body out of the chamber. The clock kept ticking. Outside, Ridge watched the ship flicker. "She's doing it," he whispered. "What if she doesn't make it?" Someone asked. Ridge clenched his jaw. Then she becomes legend. Inside, Alira reached the exit hatch. 10 seconds. Her body was broken, but her will burned. She pressed Jake's token, the one she gave him for luck, into his hand. "Thank you," she whispered. Then she jumped. The flagship exploded. The sky lit up in a white fireball. Every Villari ship paused. Then one by one, began to fall. Without the command ship, they had no orders. Without their leader, they had no vision. Without their fear machine, they had no courage. The earth roared. Soldiers everywhere saw the explosion and knew what it meant. They did it. The flagship is down. We can win. And they did. By sunrise, the sky was clear. No more ships. No more fire. Just light. Alira awoke in a hospital room. Again. Jake's dog tag was on the table. Ridge sat nearby. "You made it," he said. "Barely. He saved us all." "We saved each other," she said. A week later, Earth held a ceremony. Not for victory, but for unity. People from every land, every background, stood together. At the center stood Alira. Her armor repaired. A medal on her chest. Not alien. Not human. Something new. Something better. A reporter asked, "What do we call you now?" She smiled. "Just Alira." "But you're not from here. Home isn't where you're born," she said. "It's where you're accepted. And Earth accepted me when my own kind didn't." As the sun set, children ran across the field. Planes flew above in patterns of peace. Humans had fought. Humans had blood. But humans still stood. And somewhere in deep space, other species watched and whispered. The humans survived again. How do they do it? They fight when they should surrender. They love when they should hate. They win when they should fall. And then someone said, "Maybe that's why we fear them."